Hello, everyone, and welcome to our English Learning Podcast. My name is Leo, and I am very excited to guide you through this long journey into the world of English.
And hello from me too. I am Ava, and together we will spend a lot of time exploring phrasal verbs. This is going to be a deep, detailed, and practical episode where we explain, demonstrate, and practice phrasal verbs step by step.
Exactly. Many learners feel frustrated when they meet phrasal verbs because the meaning is not always obvious. But we want to make this easier by showing you how they work, why they matter, and how you can master them.
Let's start with the basic definition. A phrasal verb is made when you combine a base verb with a small word called a particle. That particle can be a preposition like on, in, or up, or it can be an adverb like away. The meaning of the whole phrasal verb is often different from the single verb.
For example, take means to grab or accept something, but take off means to remove clothing, or in another context, for an airplane to leave the ground. So just by adding one little word, the meaning shifts completely.
And that is why phrasal verbs are powerful and tricky. Learners sometimes try to translate them word by word, but that doesn't work. The meaning must be learned as a whole unit.
That's right. So today we will break this down into categories. We will first discuss separable and inseparable phrasal verbs. Then we will look at transitive and intransitive ones. After that, we will practice with everyday examples, build conversations, and even do some shadowing exercises for fluency.
Good plan. Let's start with separable phrasal verbs. These are phrasal verbs where you can place the object either at the end or between the verb and the particle. For instance, turn off the light can also be turn the light off. Both sentences are correct.
Yes. Another example is pick up. You can say pick up the book or pick the book up. But if the object is a pronoun like it, then you must put it in the middle. You must say pick it up, not pick up it.
Exactly. That little detail makes a big difference in sounding natural. Now let's compare with inseparable phrasal verbs. These are verbs where you cannot place the object between the verb and the particle. For example, look after. You can say, she looks after her sister, but you cannot say, she looks her sister after.
Correct. Another inseparable phrasal verb is run into, which means to meet someone unexpectedly. You can say, I ran into an old friend yesterday, but you cannot break it apart. You cannot say, I ran my old friend into. That's wrong.
This shows why listening and reading are so important. You need to see and hear phrasal verbs in real context. Now, let's move on to transitive and intransitive phrasal verbs.
Yes, a transitive phrasal verb needs an object. For example, bring up. You can say, he brought up an interesting idea. You must mention what he brought up. But an intransitive phrasal verb does not need an object. For example, wake up. You can just say, I woke up at 7.
Great explanation. To make this more clear, let's role-play a conversation using both types.
Sure, let's try. Hey, Ava, did you bring up the topic of the meeting with your manager?
Yes, I brought it up yesterday, and she said we will discuss it next week. By the way, what time did you wake up today?
I woke up late, actually. My alarm didn't go off, so I had to rush.
Perfect. In that short dialogue, we used both transitive and intransitive phrasal verbs naturally.
Exactly. Now let's give learners a list of common phrasal verbs grouped by theme. For example, daily routine phrasal verbs.
Yes, daily routine often uses verbs like wake up, get up, brush up on, head out, come back, and wind down. For example, I wake up at 7, I get up immediately, I brush up on from vocabulary, then I head out to work. After work, I come back home, and in the evening, I wind down with a book.
That's a very natural flow. Learners should notice how these verbs give rhythm to everyday conversation. If you replace them with only single verbs, the language sounds stiff.
Exactly. Compare, I rise at 7, I depart for work, I return, and I relax. Grammatically correct, but not natural. Native speakers almost always say, get up, head out, come back, wind down.
Yes. This is why phrasal verbs are essential. They are the natural way people speak. Now, let's move into another category, phrasal verbs for communication. Examples include bring up, point out, get across, speak up, and shut down.
Let's demonstrate them. During the meeting, she brought up a new idea. He pointed out some problems. I tried to get my opinion across. Another colleague spoke up. Finally, the manager shut down the discussion.
Excellent. This short example uses several communication phrasal verbs in one context. Learners can practice shadowing this. Let's say it slowly so listeners can repeat after us.
During the meeting, she brought up a new idea.
He pointed out some problems.
I tried to get my opinion across.
Another colleague spoke up.
Finally, the manager shut down the discussion.
Great shadowing practice. Repeating after us helps listeners not only remember the meaning but also feel the natural rhythm of English.
Now, let's switch to phrasal verbs for travel. Examples: set off, check in, take off, get on, get off, pick up, and drop off.
Here's a sample travel story. We set off early in the morning. When we arrived at the airport, we checked in our luggage. The plane took off on time. After landing, we got off and waited for a taxi. The driver picked us up and dropped us off at the hotel.
That's excellent. A short story that uses travel phrasal verbs naturally. Learners can imagine themselves in the situation and practice the verbs.
Yes, and it's important to note how flexible these verbs are. Pick up can mean to collect someone, but it can also mean to learn something quickly. For example, she picked up Spanish while living in Madrid.
Exactly. Multiple meanings make phrasal verbs rich, but also confusing. Context is the key. Now, let's look at phrasal verbs for emotions and relationships. Examples: cheer up, get along, fall out, make up, open up, and break up.
Let's create a short dialogue. Hey, you look sad. Cheer up.
Thanks, I will. By the way, do you still get along with your roommate?
Not really. We fell out last week.
Oh, that's tough. Did you make up yet?
Not yet, but I hope we will soon.
Perfect. And notice how fall out means to have a disagreement, while make up means to resolve it. Break up is different. It means to end a romantic relationship.
Exactly. These phrasal verbs capture the emotions of real life.
Let's do another shadowing exercise for listeners. Repeat after us.
Cheer up,
Get along,
fall out,
make up.
break up.
Great. Keep repeating until they feel natural.
Now let's move into phrasal verbs used in studying and learning. Examples are hand in, hand out, look over, go over, write down, cross out, drop out, and keep up with.
Imagine this story. The teacher handed out the exam papers. Students wrote their answers and then handed in their sheets. Afterwards, the teacher looked over the tests. She went over the mistakes in class. Students wrote down the corrections. One student decided to drop out of the course, but others worked hard to keep up with the lessons.
This is a very real situation. Students everywhere experience this, and phrasal verbs describe it perfectly.
Exactly. Now, to practice fluency, let's create a mini role play.
Hey, Ava, did you hand in your homework?
Yes, I handed it in yesterday. Did the teacher hand out the results already?
Not yet. She said she will look over them tonight and go over the answers tomorrow.
Great! That shows how natural phrasal verbs sound in school contexts.
Now let's explore phrasal verbs with technology. Common ones are log in, log out, shut down, set up, back up, plug in, and scroll down.
Here's an example. First, log into your account. Then, set up your profile. Don't forget to back up your files. If you finish, log out. If the computer freezes, shut it down and restart. To read more, scroll down the page. And of course, make sure everything is plugged in.
That's a perfect sequence. Learners should see how these verbs describe modern life.
Yes, and some of them are so common that people forget they are phrasal verbs at all.
Exactly.
Great point about phrasal verbs with get. Now, let's expand into another common group, phrasal verbs with take. Learners often struggle with these because take can change meaning so drastically depending on the particle. For example, take off. That can mean to remove clothing, like take off your shoes. It can also mean an airplane leaving the ground. And it can even mean success, like her business really took off.
Exactly. I love how one phrasal verb can have so many meanings. It makes English more colorful, but also a bit confusing. Take up is another good one. If you say, I want to take up painting, it means you want to start a new hobby. But if you say, this sofa takes up too much space, it means the sofa is occupying space in the room. So again, the context is everything.
And don't forget take after. If I say, you really take after your mother, it means you resemble her, either in looks or in behavior. But learners sometimes mix it up with take care of. Totally different meaning.
Yes, I've heard students say, I take after my dog, when they actually mean I take care of my dog. That's a funny mistake, but it shows why practicing phrasal verbs in real contexts is so important.
Absolutely. Here's a quick exercise for anyone listening. Try making sentences with take off, take up, and take after. Say them out loud. For example, the plane will take off at 8 p.m. Or, I want to take up yoga this year. And she takes after her father because they both love music.
Nice examples. Now let's shift to phrasal verbs with put. These are really common too. For instance, put on can mean to wear clothing, but it can also mean to organize something, like they put on a great show. And sometimes it means to gain weight, like he put on 5 kilos over the holidays.
Right. And put off is a classic one. It means to postpone. For example, I had to put off my meeting until tomorrow. But in informal conversation, it can also mean something is discouraging or unpleasant. Like, the smell of fish really puts me off.
And then we have put up with. That's an interesting one because it means to tolerate something you don't like. If I say, I can't put up with this noise anymore, it means the noise is driving me crazy.
Yes, and many learners find that one hard to remember because it's longer, but it's very natural in spoken English. Here's another challenge for our listeners. Try making 3 sentences with put on, put off, and put up with. Remember to think of different contexts.
Exactly. And I'd add one more. Put out. This can mean to extinguish a fire, like firefighters put out the fire quickly. It can also mean to publish something, as in, the company put out a statement. And in informal English, to be put out means to feel annoyed. For example, she was really put out when he arrived late.
That's a great one. And see how one phrasal verb can have 3 or 4 meanings. That's why learners really need to practice them in full sentences, not just memorize translations.
Definitely. Now let's talk about phrasal verbs with look. They're some of the most common. Look after means to take care of someone. Look for means to search. Look forward to means to be excited about something in the future. And look up can mean searching for information, but also when things improve, like the economy is looking up.
Good set. And don't forget look out. If you hear someone shout, look out, it means be careful or watch out. But if you say, she looks out for her younger brother, it means she takes care of him. So again, context is king.
Yes, and look into is also very useful. It means to investigate or examine something. For instance, the police are looking into the case. Or, I'll look into buying a new laptop.
Perfect. And maybe we should add look down on and look up to. These two are great for showing attitude. Look down on means to think you're better than someone else. For example, he looks down on people who don't have a college degree. But look up to means to admire someone. Like, I've always looked up to my grandfather.
Exactly. Those are powerful because they describe relationships and feelings. So, listeners, here's a mini activity. Try using look forward to, look up to, and look down on in sentences about your own life. That way you make them personal and easier to remember.
Fantastic. Now, shall we move on to phrasal verbs with come? They're everywhere in English. For example, come across. It means to find something by chance, like I came across an old photo yesterday. But it can also mean how you appear, like he comes across as very confident.
Good one. And come up with is essential. It means to think of an idea or solution. She came up with a great plan for the project. Learners will hear this all the time in business English.
True. And come down with means to start getting sick, like I think I'm coming down with the flu. Another is come over, which means to visit someone's house. Why don't you come over for dinner?
Yes, and come out has several meanings. A movie can come out, meaning it's released. A secret can come out, meaning people discover it. Or someone can come out to express their identity. It's really versatile.
Exactly. And come along can mean to accompany someone, like do you want to come along with us? But it can also mean to make progress. My English is really coming along.
Love that. So, listeners, here's another tip. Group phrasal verbs by verb, like we're doing now. That way you see the patterns and remember them better.
Since we're diving into phrasal verbs systematically, let's move to give. Learners hear these all the time. Give up is probably the most famous one. It means to quit. For example, don't give up learning English. But it can also mean to surrender, like the criminals gave up when the police arrived.
Right. And give in is slightly different. It means to finally agree to something after resisting. Imagine kids begging for ice cream. The parent might finally give in and say, okay, let's go get some.
Exactly. Then there's give away. That can mean to donate, like they gave away free books, but it also means to reveal something unintentionally, like his smile gave away the secret.
Another is give back. This one is straightforward. Return something. Can you give back my pen? But it can also be used metaphorically, like he wants to give back to the community.
And one more, give off. This means to produce, usually smells or light. For example, the flowers gave off a sweet scent, or the lamp gives off a warm glow.
Perfect set. Let's challenge the listeners again. Use give up, give away, and give back in 3 personal sentences. Maybe about your goals, your generosity, or your experiences.
Great. Now moving to make. These are everywhere too. For instance, make up has multiple meanings. It can mean to invent something, like she made up a story. It can mean to reconcile after a fight, like they finally made up. And it can mean cosmetics, like she puts on makeup.
Yes, and make out is another. It can mean to see or hear something with difficulty, like, I could barely make out his handwriting. It also has an informal meaning related to kissing, so learners should be aware of context.
True. And make up for means to compensate. For example, he apologized to make up for being late. Another common one is make of. If I ask, what do you make of this news? It means, what's your opinion?
And don't forget make into. Like, they made the old factory into a museum. That's transforming something.
Right. So that's another set to practice. Try combining them. She made up a story to make up for being late. It's playful, but it helps memory.
Brilliant. Next, let's look at set. Learners often find these tricky. Set up means to arrange or organize, like they set up the meeting. It can also mean to establish, like he set up his own business.
And set off can mean to start a journey, like we set off early in the morning, but it can also mean to cause something, like the smoke set off the fire alarm.
Yes, and set out can also mean to begin a trip, but it can also mean to explain something clearly. She set out her ideas in the report.
Another is set back. That means to delay progress. The storm set back construction by 2 weeks. And set aside means to save something, like she set aside some money for emergencies.
Really useful. Listeners, I suggest writing these down in groups. Don't memorize randomly. Grouping by verb is powerful.
Absolutely. Next up, run. Run into means to meet someone by chance. I ran into my teacher at the supermarket.
And run out of is essential. It means to have no more left. We ran out of milk. Very common in daily conversation.
Yes, and run over can mean to hit someone or something with a vehicle, which is serious, but it can also mean to go beyond time. The meeting ran over by 20 minutes.
Good one. And run through can mean to practice quickly. Let's run through the presentation. It can also mean to use something quickly, like I ran through all my money in 1 week.
Another is run across. Similar to come across, it means to find by chance. I ran across an old friend online.
Perfect. Let's encourage learners to practice these in short dialogues. For instance, we ran out of bread, so I ran into the store, but I ran across my friend and the conversation ran over. See how many you can connect.
Nice. That's fun practice. Now, turn, another huge one. Turn on and turn off are basic, switching things on or off. Turn up means to appear or arrive, often unexpectedly. She turned up late. But it also means to increase volume.
Exactly. And turn down can mean to lower volume, but it also means to reject something, like he turned down the job offer.
And turn out is versatile. It turned out well means the result was good, or thousands turned out for the concert means thousands of people attended.
Don't forget turn in. That can mean to go to bed, like I usually turn in around 11, or it can mean to submit work, like please turn in your assignment.
Yes, and turn over can mean to flip something. Or in business, it can mean revenue, like the company's turnover increased.
Fantastic. Learners, write a mini story using at least 4 of these turn phrasal verbs. That's an excellent way to reinforce memory.
Agreed. Now, bring, another huge one. Bring up means to mention a topic. She brought up an interesting point, but it can also mean to raise children, like he was brought up in London.
Bring about means to cause. The new law brought about many changes. Bring in can mean to introduce, like they brought in a new system.
And bring back means to return something or to make someone remember. That song brings back memories.
Yes, and bring out can mean to highlight. The new design really brings out the color. It can also mean to release something, like the company brought out a new product.
Exactly. And bring down can mean to reduce, like they brought down prices, or it can mean to overthrow, like the scandal brought down the government.
Another essential set for learners to master.
Now, let's move on to phrasal verbs with call. One very common one is call off, which means to cancel. For example, they called off the meeting due to bad weather.
Yes, and call on can mean to visit someone. I called on my grandmother yesterday. But it can also mean to ask someone to speak, especially in a classroom. The teacher called on me to answer the question.
Another is call up. That means to phone someone. I'll call up my friend tonight. In some contexts, especially military, it means to summon someone for service.
And call out is interesting. It can mean to challenge someone publicly, like he was called out for lying. It also can simply mean to shout. She called out my name in the crowd.
Perfect. Now, let's look at phrasal verbs with pick. Pick up we already mentioned, but it's versatile. It can mean to lift, collect, learn casually, or improve. I picked up some Spanish while traveling.
Then there's pick out, which means to choose. She picked out a beautiful dress. And pick on means to tease or bully. Stop picking on your little brother.
Great. Let's continue with phrasal verbs with go. Go on means to continue. Please go on with your story. Go over means to review something. Let's go over the lesson again.
Go out can mean to leave your home for social activity. We went out for dinner. Or it can describe a romantic relationship. They've been going out for 3 months.
And go through is very common. It can mean to experience something difficult. She went through a tough time last year.
Or it can mean to examine carefully. Go through these documents before the meeting.
Also, go off is interesting. It can mean an alarm sounds, the alarm went off at 6 a.m., or food spoils, like the milk went off, or a plan or event fails, like the party went off without a hitch.
Excellent. Now let's explore phrasal verbs with put further. Put up can mean to accommodate someone. They put me up for the night. Put together means to assemble something. They put together the new furniture.
Put aside means to save or ignore temporarily. She put aside some money. Or he put aside his differences to work together. And put down can mean to insult or to write something, like he put down my idea, or she put down her name on the list.
Another useful group is phrasal verbs with break. Break down can mean a machine stops working, like my car broke down. Or emotionally, she broke down after hearing the news.
Break up is often for ending relationships. They broke up last month. Or it can describe a group splitting into smaller parts. The meeting broke up after an hour.
Break out is also important. It means a sudden start, often bad things like fights or disease. A fire broke out in the kitchen. A war broke out in the region.
And break into means to enter by force. Thieves broke into the house. It can also mean to start doing something suddenly, like she broke into song.
Good. Let's move on to phrasal verbs with bring again. Bring about, we mentioned, it means to cause. Bring in can also mean to introduce or recruit someone. They brought in a new manager.
Bring out is common too. This technique really brings out your skills. And bring back can trigger memory. That photo brings back memories.
Now let's explore phrasal verbs with get. Get up is simple. Wake from sleep. Get along with is social. Do you get along with your colleagues?
Get over is about recovering. It took her months to get over the illness. Get through can mean to survive or complete. We got through the project despite difficulties.
Get by means to manage with difficulty. We can get by with this small budget. And get rid of means to remove. I need to get rid of old clothes.
Exactly. Get together is social. We should get together this weekend. Get off can mean to leave work or transportation. I get off at 5 p.m. Get on is similar, but for entering.
Perfect. Now, phrasal verbs with come. Come across we mentioned, find unexpectedly. Come up with is to think of an idea. Come down with is getting sick. Come out is release or revelation.
Come in means to enter. Come along means to accompany or improve. And come over is to visit someone. These cover a wide range of everyday interactions.
Now, let's do a small practice session for our listeners. We'll create a story using multiple phrasal verbs. Listen and repeat if you like.
Okay. Yesterday I woke up late, so I had to get up quickly. I ran into my neighbor while heading out, and we talked for a few minutes. I picked up my coffee on the way. At work, we went over the reports and brought up some issues. Afterwards, I got along well with my team and felt things were coming along nicely. In the evening, I called up my friend and we went up for dinner. We talked about our memories, which really brought back the past. Finally, I came home and wound down before turning in for the night.
Excellent. This little story includes dozens of phrasal verbs. Listening, repeating, and shadowing stories like this is one of the best ways to remember them.
Yes, the key is exposure and repetition. Using phrasal verbs in context helps them stick in your memory far better than memorizing isolated lists.
And don't forget to create your own mini stories. Think of your day, your work, your hobbies, and try to insert as many phrasal verbs as possible.
Exactly. With practice, you'll start using them naturally without thinking.
Let's finish this episode with a few more advanced phrasal verbs